Right? The silence, the sounds, the wind blowing, people talking. It's just simply what is. Thoughts appearing, thoughts about the apparent world, something to be done or not, the sensations in the body that are felt, the assumption that there is somebody here who has to do something. It's just what is. There is no separation already. Everything as it is, bodily sensations, thoughts, the movement, the sounds. It's just how wholeness expresses itself. There is really no intention to get to somewhere. There's really no intention to find something. There's really no intention here to save somebody. There's just talking happening, which is the same as thinking, sensations, the wind. Everything is this already. And this can't be found because it's already everything. Yet it's nothing. It is so simple, even beyond the word simple. It is already beyond any word spoken, yet it appears as words. Words are never really describing this. They can be used as concepts, they're just concepts. To say this is wholeness, to say this is vastness, this is everything, it doesn't even mean anything. It doesn't even touch this as it is. To say there is no wholeness, there is no such a thing. Those words, they don't touch this as it is. This remains as it is. Whether there are opinions that seem to oppose each other about what this is. This remains as it is, untouched, undisturbed. Yet also appearing as words, as people with different opinions. So somebody trying to find this is just a story appearing in this. Somebody claiming that I've lost what is, I've lost wholeness, is just a story appearing in wholeness as wholeness. The story as it is already whole and complete. The word spoken as it is already whole and complete. There's nothing separate from this. There's no words that are separate from this. There's no one who's separate from this already. There is no separation. Separation can be viewed as just thought constructs, which appears in this as this already. So just what is, this as it is already what is being longed for. Even what appears to be the longing is already just this, appearing as a longing. Even what appears to be somebody searching for this is already this appearing as somebody who's searching. But there is no real, actual, separate somebody who is searching for anything. It's just wholeness already. It is everything already. So the one who seems to be going up and down, going to the mountains, meditating inside the cave, reciting mantras, is already everything. That's how wholeness expresses itself. There's somebody who's seeking for wholeness. So it's just a story. And all stories are already empty. They don't mean anything. Nothing has built-in meaning. Everything is already empty of any meaning. Yet there may seem to be meanings appearing. Somebody saying this means that something big is coming. This means that I've lost it. The way I feel, judging from the way I feel, that means I've lost the totality. I've lost wholeness. I'm just by myself. That's just this already. That's wholeness already, which may seem to express as that. Because there's no good and bad. There's no wrong or right. There's no wrong or right. This, as it is already opinionless. This, as it is, may take any direction. It doesn't really matter. Whichever direction that may seem to be taken is already no direction. It's just going nowhere. There's nowhere to go. There's just simply vastness. There's just simply everything. The direction that seems to be going somewhere is just a story. Somebody going to work is just a story. Somebody who came for this podcast or meeting is just a story. The story of coming to attend this mess or to listen to this message. Somebody coming to listen to this message is just a story. Nobody came. And there's no one who's going to go anywhere. There's just this. The coming and going is simply this wholeness already. So there's no one to find everything. There's no one to lose everything. There's simply this everything. You can call it whatever, it doesn't really mind.
So when you when you look for yourself, whatever that is. What does that feel like to you physically? How do you experience that when you look for yourself? You know what I mean?
When you look for yourself.
When you
Yeah.
look for yourself from wherever that is right there.
I would say here the desire to look for myself, it doesn't even arise because, there is no self to look for. It is seen here that there is no self to look for. There's just this everything. But in the story of Nkosi, who was seeking, there used to be a strong belief that there was something to be found. There was the self to be found. So many things will be done here. Um, many things used to happen. Um, reciting the name of God, um, watching the space between the apparent objects used to happen. And at times there would be glimpses from time to time, seeing that there is no self, there's nothing, you know. But I wouldn't say that's led to anything, you know. That as it is never led to anything because it was seen that already that's which seems to be seeking for wholeness, or that's which seems to be seeking for the self. It never even existed. It was already everything. It was already that which was sought for, appearing as something that was seeking. So the seeker was not found. And, and it was also discovered that the finder was already not there. So it was revealed as well to nobody that all there is totality, is justice. So there wasn't any seeker. There wasn't any separate seeker.
That's all very beautiful, Nkosi, but that's not the question I asked you.
Can you repeat the question again?
Right now, from where you aren't.
Yeah.
You know, you may not spend time finding what you are,
Yeah.
but if you look, what do you see? How does that feel? How does that play out experientially right now if you do that? What did you see?
Yeah, it is. I'm trying to find the suitable word. If I were to do that, it will seem like, I don't know if ridiculous is the right word to use. If I were
That's
to seek for that, I don't know.
right.
You know, yeah, so it doesn't really arise. It doesn't really arise because, you know, there's just talking now, which seems to happen, but the one who's talking is nowhere. It can never be found. Or a thought construct that's used to dominate, that used to say, I'm here, I'm a man, I see the world, is just never there. So it would be difficult to engage in seeking for the self, because there is no self. There is no self. That can be done. That can be done like playfully when there is a play going on, pretending as if I'm seeking for the self, but it will be it will be simply just a pretense, a play, but there's no self. Even the desire to seek, it doesn't arise. It doesn't arise. But when there is a belief that there is a self, the desire as well will be there.
So there's no, like right now, there's, you may know that there's no self to be found. But if you playfully look for it, there's no specific sensations that come up. There's no heart sensations. There's no reflectivity. There's no oneness with the tree. There's no, nothing happens.
Okay, I would say everything is myself, if I should put it that way. If there is no I, that there is no separate I, but the I that is left here is the I of everything. It's just one I. The ducks, the trees, the people, the mosquitoes, the sky, it's just the same I.
So
There's
let's
the,
say,
there's,
let's say one of those mosquitoes was to land on your forehead.
yeah.
You'd squash it.
Whatever comes up first, then that will be done. If it comes up that I should remove it, I will remove it. It, it doesn't mean that when there is an attack, something attacks the body, the body like won't defend itself. It will just be still. There will be action taken to prevent that from happening here, but it's not registered as being done by somebody. If you know,
Sure.
yeah, action is simply taken to move aside. When the car comes straight to you,
Right.
action can be taken to avoid that.
But the car's not alive. But I guess you'd argue this mosquito isn't either.
Nothing is alive. There's just aliveness. There's just aliveness. There are no separate lives. The mosquito doesn't have its own life that is separate from everything. It's just one life everywhere or nowhere. Just this. So it is seen as well that there is no one who can lose life or find life. There is just life, which expresses as what seems to be you listening, which expresses as this the character. And the character, remains as well as it is. The activity may still continue, even when there's no, it's not registered as somebody doing the activities. They may still continue. Everything feels light and empty. And anger as well may still arise. Anger may still arise. Yet it's not registered as being somebody who's angry. It's just an empty anger that doesn't even last. Laughter may still happen here. In everything that is being done, there is always that underlying peace that is never disturbed. There is just this field of energy which also expresses as the apparent things. It expresses as darks, as people walking, trees, the wind. You can call it the field of energy, or boundless energy. That one is always there. It's just this. It is also the one that seems to be talking right now. It's also that which seems to be listening. It is the wall. It is the computer screen. It is thoughts, sensations, the sky, the realms, different realms, souls, different souls. It is unconditional love. It is unconditional love. And nothing sticks. Yeah. Mm.
So I've been getting on this forum, this non-duality forum, and unlike Michael's forum, there's a lot of people arguing, which is which can be really irritating. But also, people come with problems. You know,
Yeah.
and I was reading this one guy who was talking about he's been looking, he's been studying non-duality for 20 years, and he studied these guys and that guys, and nothing has happened. He didn't get anything out of it. He's had no glimpses. It's just left him depressed, and now he's waiting to die. I don't know why that's funny, but maybe not funny.
Mm.
There's the words, your words, words of others that have had these type of realizations. Sometimes they land and sometimes they don't, right? Sometimes they actually if can affect change. There can be a transmission, or maybe not. What would you say to those who, well, listen and can't hear? There's no choice, I suppose. I suppose there's no choice as to whether
Yeah.
the words land or not.
I would say, yeah, I understand. I would say they can keep on listening to the videos, all the questions that you used to ask in the videos. Just by listening to the videos, something may seem to, in a way, deconstruct or fall away. Yeah, you should keep on listening the videos every uh, topic we have discussed about. Mm. But really, you know, there's really nothing to be found. There's really nothing to be found. Sometimes when they speaking or they speaking happening, this actually it doesn't really speak to the mind. It's just speaking to itself. There is no mind. Sometimes the words as they are may not seem to land, you know, but um, something may seem to resonate within, not with the mind, because the mind, you know, is just already not there. You know, when they're speaking, when there are talks like this, it's usually, you know, this talking to itself as it is, you know, this field of energy or boundless energy. Where it may seem to the mind, where it may seem as if they're not landing anywhere, but they're always landing there in the right place. I don't know if I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. I'm saying
Uh,
the matter of resonance.
yeah,
It's not the matter of understanding. And
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Well, I mean, I think so. I think a lot of people that are attracted to non-duality discussions are quite smart, and they may be attracted to the inherent contradiction, uh, almost like a nihilistic attraction to to philosophical debate, for example.
yeah.
You know, I mean, it's which can really engage the mind, right? Give the mind something to chew on and something to amplify. And if, okay, there's nothing to do, no one to do it, I can't decide to do anything anyway. It's all very stubborn and in my opinion, very far from uh, a realized state, you know.
Yeah, and you know, when it is spoken or when it is said that there's nothing to be done, there's nowhere to get to, there's nothing to fix, there's nothing to let go of. The mind may seem to take that literally, as if, you know, I can just sit, you know, and do nothing, and you know, but it's actually it's 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 beyond that. Yeah, it's beyond that. It's within. You know, it's that's why sometimes you may find that in the non-duality meetings, people start to argue, you know,
Right.
start to have different opinions, you know, because uh, the message is when it is conveyed to that which can't be seen, which is the source of emotions, the source of all thoughts, the source of all expressions. You know, it's just the vastness, this field of energy talking to itself. So the mind may seem to never really get it because, you know, the message itself is directed to something beyond the mind. You know. Yet, what seems to be the mind is also this field of energy expressing as the mind.
I think I think if you look at, I'll just call them authentic religious traditions, you know, whatever they were, Christianity, many sects of Buddhism, Taoism, or
Mm,
whatever, that Hinduism, a lot of Hinduism, that the non-dual truths were reserved for when people were ready to hear them, right? If you tell people
yeah,
too early that it doesn't matter what they do,
yeah,
then they won't do anything.
yeah. I agree with you. I agree with you. In a way, I would say they have to have listened to, or they had to have glimpses, to have had glimpses, at least this is,
Yeah.
then when this is the message is conveyed, there might be that little resonance
Yeah.
happening. But if there were never any glimpses, it's just
It's like a difficult math problem.
li- like, for instance, they're at home when they listen to our conversation, they think we are crazy. They think we are mad. So, because,
Right.
you know, yeah. Sometimes the life itself, the difficulties in life, the problems that we encounter in this experience may trigger that's seeking as a result of problems, suffering going on, may seem to trigger the the seeking to happen. Some this happens when they're about to commit suicide, apparently. They ask themselves, who am I? Why am I here? What am I doing here? Where did I come from? So when somebody asks such questions, that's when at times there would be glimpses. Sometimes when there's an accident, you know, that may seem to happen. Glimpses may seem to happen when there's an accident. So there are many triggers that may trigger this um, understanding, this desire to seek for the totality or oneness or whatever you can call it. Yeah.
My response to this person that was talking about depression as a result of non-dual stuff and not getting anywhere was that you had to be earnest and that you had to have faith, you know. But you had that it was more than understanding the words, that you had to have faith that there was something beyond the words, and you had to earnestly seek in order to have some sort of transcendence. Uh, but their response was, well, that sounds like religion. I don't like religion. But there has to be a seeking, I think. Well, of course, it makes no
Yeah.
difference whether you have a realization or not, but to have a realization, there needs to be seeking and earnestness. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually when seeking arises, then at times there would be glimpses happening, you know, not that there is somebody who's experiencing a glimpse, who's seeing a glimpse, who's having a glimpse. It's just this reveals to nobody that there's just this. All there is this. There isn't even anyone who was seeking in the first place. Yet during the process of seeking, they may be that belief that I'm somebody, I'm seeking, I'm here. I'm sitting here by the river seeking for wholeness. What do you mean there's nobody here? I'm here. But when it is seen clearly that all there is this, it is also recognized that there wasn't anyone who was seeking in the first place. So nothing happened. The seeker never happened. It only seems to be happening when there is a desire to seek. The desire to seek for this is still going on. Then it seems to be really there as real, as separate from everything. But that's illusory. It's just an illusion.
So there's a
What do you call
contradiction,
it?
right?
Mirage?
A mirage.
Right.
So there's a contradiction there, Seek and you will find, but there's nobody to seek, right? But you still have to seek.
If you believe that it's being done by you, it's okay. Until it is seen that it was never being done by you in the first place. It was just simply happening. That can be said. That's continue to seek, never stop seeking, be earnest. But up until it is seen that there is no one who was seeking in the first place, the master doesn't reveal anything early for the student. The master may pretend as if there's really somebody there. The master may say, continue to seek, go deeper, go deeper. You know, the premature revelation is not necessary in the early stages of the student, when the student. But that can be done just to make that, to make somebody get to the end of himself or herself, in a way, apparently. Even an intense practice may seem to be suggested just to make that, to get to the end of itself. So it's like that.
Like all that shitty yoga, man. Oh. Guys sitting up in trees for 20 years or whatever.
Yeah,
Yikes.
exactly.
Well, thank you.
All right. Yeah, welcome.
I'll talk to you next week.